Presenting in front of people can be really nerve-wracking, whether it's a small group or a large crowd. You might be worried about messing up or losing your audience along the way. So here are 5 tips to be a great presenter.
Tip number 1, know your audience.
The best way to engage your audience is to understand what they need and want out of your presentation. We oftentimes kind of get caught up with thinking about how do I make myself look good or what if I mess up? So we want to shift away from this I thinking and really focus on addressing the needs of our audience. By doing this, you will end up figuring out what to include in your speech as well as what kind of tone you need to use when you're giving your presentation.
For example, management or business partners respond better to formal, factual presentations. They want to know, how does your proposal impact their bottom line? Customers, on the other hand, respond better to energized, confident speakers who speak to their pain points or needs. They're really looking for you to sell them on the idea or get them excited about the possibility your product has to offer. Tip number 2, use storytelling. Don't just read off your slides.
You're ready for your big presentation. You get up on stage and you think, my content is great, but I'm a little nervous, so I'll just read off the slide, no problem. Do not do this. It often makes you look unprepared and it devalues you as the presenter. Slides act as a visual aid to support what you're saying. They shouldn't replace the role that you play as the speaker. This is where storytelling can be a very powerful tool and can be used in almost every type of presentation.
Let's look at the framework for business storytelling. It starts with what is the current situation, and then what are the insights that led to the discovery of this situation. And it ends with what are the recommendations or conclusions you're drawing. To see our framework in action, let's say we need to pitch a new feature for an app to our management team. We start by explaining the current situation. In the past 6 months of analyzing our app, we noticed a drop in usage time. What led to the discovery of this was when diving deeper into the data, we found that users wanted more customizability options for their purchases. So, we recommend implementing 2 customization features that have the biggest impact on app usage. Tip number 3, know your content.
The best way to build confidence is to know what you're talking about. So don't just memorize the content of your presentation, really understand what you are presenting.
This is important because chances are you'll get asked questions that you may not have expected during the Q&A section of your presentation. Once again, we want to position ourselves as having value as a speaker and show that we know our project like the back of our hand.
Now, I'm not saying that you have to know everything that your marketer, your engineer, or a specialist knows, but you do have to understand the key details about the hows and the whys of your project.
Here's a key tip for you. Test your knowledge by asking yourself, would I be able to explain the concepts to somebody who has never heard about this project before? What you want to do is flesh out your points where they're unclear or unnecessarily complex. If you anticipate you might have technical questions, you can always invite a technical staff to join you so that they can answer those questions. And if you really don't know the answers, it's okay to tell people that you'll get back to them later with the answers. Tip number 4, practice, but don't over-practice.
Have you ever heard a presentation where it sounded just a little too robotic, so your mind starts to wonder, like, what do I want for lunch, or all the work that you have to do? This can be the negative side effect of over-practicing your speech. What's happening is that you're losing that natural energy and almost conversational-like tone to your voice because you're just going through the motions.
So instead, prepare for the unexpected, and I'll come back to my previous point. Know your content. It's often easy to talk about something you know really well, even in unexpected situations. Or you can practice using key points instead of writing the whole speech. This can help you come across more naturally because you're focused on conveying the key message as opposed to being locked into specific ways of speaking. Something else you can try is to run your speech by a friend who hasn't seen your presentation and then ask them for feedback on how it sounded. And my last little tip is once you can get through your presentation smoothly, reduce the number of rehearsals. Tip number 5, speak slowly and don't ramble.
A good presenter speaks slowly and avoids rambling. You want to make sure that your audience can keep pace with the ideas that you're presenting and internalize those key messages. If you focus so much on trying to just get the content out there, then you miss engaging your audience.
So first you need to recognize when you're speaking too fast. Are you going through the slides too quickly? Does your audience look confused or do they look flustered because they can't keep up? Are you pausing for breath? Or are you just tornadoing through your content? Next, find ways to reset and remind yourself to slow down. Understand why you're speaking so fast. Is it because you're feeling nervous, or is it because that's the natural way that you speak? Something you could try is to practice your speech with a friend. You could also try to record yourself and play it back. I know we all don't like the sound of our voice, but this can be really helpful. The other thing you can try is to build in natural breakpoints in your slides or notes. You could put the Q&A slide right after every major section of your presentation so that it creates natural pauses for you to take a breath and reset.
Now you know to be a great presenter, you need to understand your audience and engage them using storytelling. To build your own confidence and to deliver a smooth presentation, you need to practice your speech and also understand the content that you're delivering. If you're interested in building out a PowerPoint presentation, check out my other video where we walk through a step-by-step guide to do that. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content.